Chapter 8. Bouffon. Is that you again? It's been ages since we met. What have you been doing in this warm weather? Like so many dimwits, you've been holidaying in the Côte d'Azur. Well done. My congratulations. Take a seat. Get a pencil and paper out. Off we go. No, 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 interrogator. Comedy is not the opposite of tragedy. Not at all. There's no doubt you have the brain the size of a pea, a frozen one. Comedy is a different genre from tragedy. Exclamation mark. Leave a line. I explain. Things developed in the following way. Around the 4th of March, 1971, at Jacques Lecoq's school, which, if my memory serves me right, was located in Boulevard Raspail, in sordid premises guarded ferociously by a huge hound which bit anyone who came near it, there was a Dutch student who waddled like a duck, suffering from severe Parkinson's, and wriggled about like a goldfish which had leapt out of its bowl. So much so that the teachers had nicknamed this master of uncontrolled jiggling the wobbling Batavian. So it came about on the 4th of March, 1971, that Jacques Lecoq, who proclaimed ceaselessly that, though everything moved, it moved around a fixed point, and that the Batavian paid scant respect to this, decided to take matters in hand. Tie up the Netherlander, so he can't jiggle anything. No sooner said than done. The tulip lover was reduced to the state of a reptilian sausage, the sausage makers having decided to leave him lying on the ground, no doubt believing that allowing him to stand would be hazardous. A sausage which wriggles in an upright position is in great danger of injuring itself. Lecoq then ordered the Adam eater to say 3 words, and no more, in the language of Erasmus. General stupefaction. Something was happening. What monster was springing into life? Everyone realized that an important event was taking place, but no one was sure exactly what it was. Meanwhile, Lecoq's nose was growing longer, as if he was a countryman sniffing new truffles and who, in the first few wafts, sensed riches to come. Moreover, the lover of Gouda and Schiedam gin had, through his fixed point, top-grade sausage-making, found the correct tone. Well done, said Jacques. I don't know what family ties, excepting those of telepathy, Jacques had with the family of Jean Bart, who put the Netherlanders through the mill in the age of Louis XIV and Admiral de Ruyter, but Jacques promptly ordered that the Batavian's knees be bound together, once and for all, with the aid of a fiercely tightened scarf. Then that his arms should be cut off by wrapping them in a pullover from which only inelegant stumps emerged. Give him a hump, a fat stomach, a fat bottom, and so on. After an hour and a half of assorted torture, the wriggler of the Netherlands had joined the world of Bruegel and his cripples. Lecoq, who was not averse to pithy comments, noted, "The bouffons have joined the school." So 2 avenues for research open up. That of artistic aestheticism, bouffons who are elegant, graceful, refined, well-dressed, the ones you find in games of chance, cards, the tarot, the yellow dwarf, and so on. They descend from the sky, smile at human imperfections, even enjoy them. Or that of bouffons who are vulgar, ordinary, rough, uncouth, harsh, primitive, loutish, unbalanced, obscene, deformed, rude, sick, mad, homosexuals, whores, Jews, the types that honest people pushed off to the swamps, the ghettos, the forests, the types who met in fascist camps, and who before the 14th century blasphemed in Catholic churches on the day of the donkey, the female bouffons who were expelled from paradise. Jacques, who didn't like conflict at all and preferred the artistic, chose the first avenue of research. I chose the second. God can have art and refined artists. Long live anger. I often opposed Jacques' artistic conceptions. He called me the anarchist. A compliment. Jacques carried on along his own path. I took mine. Oh yes, I forgot. Once again, God and his cherubs organized a massacre. God, when driving Eve from paradise, insulted her in a way that only a full-blown fascist would. After God was finished cursing her, his henchmen got stuck in too, Dwarves, hunchbacks, cripples, abortion survivors, as they say, blacks, Jews, Arabs, homos, and so on, all felt the full weight of the fundamental truths printed in the Bible. God is the greatest artist who created the world in 6 days. Then he dozed off. How would a star of his caliber come up with a piece of shit like you? I'm asking you the question, I'm answering it. You don't belong in the kingdom of God. Where do you come from? If God's magic wand hasn't anointed you with his grace, where? Tell me, you son of a bitch. The bouffon answers, My father is the devil, sir. I like him. Long ago, the refugees in the ghettos often loved the devil, who was the first to free woman and man when they accepted his invitation to investigate mysteries in all directions. Long live Galileo. I already understood that the bouffon brought the joy of the blasphemer, of the devil, to which will be added the joy of the actor interpreting him. How does he act, this exile, this outcast, who has been put on the index, whom fastidious judges have ordered to wear bells on his backside, so that the children of God never see him again? This exile, who has suffered like one of the damned, who has been to hell and back, like all the survivors of death camps who return from the legal and divine hell, that of respectable fools. The bouffon acts as no actor has before him, or only bad actors, in a way which is forbidden in the theater. What a fine revenge. He parodies the pigs who ordered him to go far away from the kingdom of men and of God, and the parody is in no way sweet. For the bouffon, who lets rip with his desire, pleasure, exquisite joy and delight in mocking and imitating, wishes in all his heart and his body that his victim, that turd who outlawed him, will, on seeing himself mocked in this way, promptly die of a heart attack. A parody ritual which aims to annihilate the wicked. There are several stages in teaching bouffon. 1. Enjoying imitating another student. This is to show that parody has nothing to do with interpreting a character. Parody, a quick outline. Parody draws the parts down low, below the belt. 2. Researching 3 bastards, exemplary bastards whose contemptible nature gives scope to the bouffon's art. What is a bastard? Someone who could denounce his neighbor to the brutal fascist authorities, someone who thinks he is God's own gift to the world, someone who hates vulnerability, who doesn't forgive. 3. Researching the bouffon, his physical deformities, those which will help the pleasure of performing, of parody, and the joy of speaking the truth to the rich and to bigots. And 4. After a certain time, research into the bouffons of our world, the insane, sufferers of Down syndrome, gays, gypsies, blacks, the blacks of Jean Genet, and plays, Ubu by Alfred Jarry, and my plays which have been published in French, English, and Spanish. The Tormentor. These bouffons seem to me very frightening, wicked, foul, poisonous creatures, troubling, like the souls of those who hunt them. Do you know Meudon? Meudon is a charming suburb nestled in the southwest of Paris. A school was proposed there for children suffering from Down syndrome. What an outcry. Anyone who is anybody in Meudon, led by the mayor, recently appointed head of the Meudon Surveillance Committee, was up in arms. On the television news, it was revealed that the price of land in Meudon had fallen by 20% because Down syndrome children might be walking the streets. In a week, a petition opposing the scheme had gathered 50,000 signatures. Meudon chased away bouffons without even looking at them. In the Middle Ages, bands of outcasts huddled together in the forests or near the marshes. The outcasts were hunchbacks, the legless, freaks, queers, prostitutes, Jews, witches, heretical priests, madmen, depressives, Down syndrome sufferers, cripples, and so on. The courts ordered that little bells should be attached to their backsides, so no normal person, no son of God, would meet them by chance. Why were they banished? Out of fear of the other? Perhaps. Stupidity? No doubt. Spinelessness? Certainly. It all began quite simply. Monsieur Dupré is getting dressed in his Sunday best. He is going to church to pray to God, his friend. Afterwards, he'll buy some cakes from a wonderful patisserie opposite the church. He asks his wife for a few reassuring words. He is dressed smartly enough to encounter God. Yes, his wife says, God and I make a lovely couple, says Monsieur Dupre. Yesterday in the High Court, where he serves as the king's chief prosecutor, he banished two dwarves. The dwarves were not only ugly, they were also homosexual. The local constabulary had caught them in an act of sodomy in a church cloister, scene of other similar outrages. Since God is not only an international artist, but also infinite, how does he permit such garbage? Thinks Prosecutor Dupre. But good God, of course, it was the devil who spawned these queers, not God. Close the shutters, raid the forest, blitz the swamp, a springtime crusade, genocide, cleanse the land, show no mercy, annihilate the sons of the devil, no compassion, we're not bloody stupid. All the fine fellows on the right hand of God, cry out, we're not bloody stupid, and show how merciless they are. In other times, the methods changed. Stop the genocides. Nicey, nicey. Isn't he nice? The bouffon. Smack, smack. The plague has reached behind the ramparts. Oh, the horrible plague. It kills the good and the bad. It can't tell the difference. Oh, how I hate the plague. How awful it is. I've got an idea. What? Prosecutor Dupre tells a clerk of the court to get a loudspeaker and proclaim throughout the swamp that the people demand that the devil's offspring, who stink out of the swamps and the woods, must parade at night through the streets of the town. Their obscenity and ugliness will frighten off the plague, which has reached beyond the ramparts. The vile will drive out the unspeakable. The upside is that the Christians will stop tormenting the bouffons, the sons of the devil, of blasphemy and of impiety. In other times, the friends of God hunted for lunatics because they heard that their sovereign wanted, as great kings generally did, a court jester. A jester's crazed words would help their ruler, for absolute power had put his sanity at risk. The hunting horns ring out. The children of God track the bouffons back to the swamps, and they have fun. They call them the names the children of God have saddled them with: poof, shirt lifter, bum bandits, filth, sluts, streetwalkers, leg spreaders, pox spreaders, shitbags, cripples, alkies, numbskulls, dickheads, crackbrains, wogs, Arabs, sambos, coons, towelheads, fuzzyheads, yids. The children of God have a wonderful sense of humor. When bouffons turn up at a theater to tell the truth about the devil, the liberator, they don't play the part of a bastard or a bitch. They parody bastards and bitches and imitate their shortcomings in a grotesque or derisory way. Bouffons send up the scum who point the way to the ghettos. Absolute joy inhabits the soul of a bouffon parodying on stage. No doubt the pig whose body and soul I'm mimicking will come into the theater and recognize himself. They think. They'll shout, "It's not me, it's not," and die of a violent heart attack. Parody arms the poor who have suffered so much. It kills their tormentors. Exercise. Parody 3 scumbags. What is a scumbag? Someone who thinks it would be better if a handicapped person, a Jew, a black, a gay, and so on hadn't been born. The world of the bouffon. Tough, dirty talk, robust jokes, a lacerating earthiness, intelligence, Goya, Bruegel, and Hieronymus Bosch. Is that all? When disabled people laugh, freedom flutters close to them. Add that in as well. Thank you for listening to me. Goodbye, interrogator. You haven't annoyed me today. Strange. Very strange. The day after. Sir, I've dressed up specially to hear the end of your bouffon adventures. Just like going to the theater, spruced up from head to toe. No doubt you'll think I'm out of touch, but when I go to a theatrical event, I like to look my smartest, to add a touch of solemnity. Moreover, an elegant, well-ironed starched suit helps me cross what you call the frontier of the imaginary world. Please be so kind as to tell me these bouffon stories at once. I was in Brazil when 3 skinheads poured petrol over an Indian who was lost. He died of his burns 3 days later in the street. I heard the following text from a tribe of Indians in a village whose name is difficult to pronounce or even write. Macuapanem. Where is it? Near the Amazon River, 27 miles from Ilha Mapixari. I have translated the text from the Portuguese. Native words are also freely incorporated. A friend from the University of Brasilia helped me in this work. Naked Indians surged out of the forest, acted the text, shouted, danced, and went back to the forest again. They showed up like devils, united in desire to be blasphemous. No raised stage, the audience were standing. The lights of an old car lit the plain area. From the forest came the cries of wild animals, which became part of the show. The ceremony was more beautiful because of its savage solemnity. A female coryphaeus of a group of 6 Indians. Woman, greetings, our best wishes, our most sincere best wishes. With all our respect, we thought of you with all our hearts in the swamps. It was damp, and the waters that devoured our skins were stagnant and stinking. Greetings, our best wishes, our most sincere best wishes. We thought of you in the swamps. And you, lawgivers, did you think of us in the swamps, covered in blisters and vermin, us the banished? Greetings, our best wishes, our most sincere best wishes. With all our respect, we thought of you with all our hearts in the swamps. In the beginning we said, they'll be ashamed because of the Lord Jesus, who went out into the Mount of Olives, and shame will consume their bodies, and they'll run to the swamps. They'll cry, return, there's been a mistake. Don't feed your children on the putrid swamp waters and dead fish anymore. You didn't come, ever. And I fed the children on putrid water, dead fish, and sometimes on the ravaged skeletons of dead birds in the swamps. Greetings, our best wishes, our most sincere best wishes. With all our respect, we thought of you with all our hearts in the swamps. You didn't come, ever. And so we considered the great master Galileo was condemned. We said, they condemned the great master Galileo, who measured the universe. They won't ever come to look for us. In our absence, how have you been living? The group rushes off into the forest. The 3 Indians laugh. Groups of Indians come back. Indian God. Adam's masturbating. That's disgusting. Our Father who is in heaven, don't let my son Adam masturbate. It makes you deaf. Do you want to be deaf so you can't hear my commandments? Adam. Indian Adam. I'm coming, Dad. Indian God. Ah ha ha, my heart. He swallows pills. Adam, you'll be the death of me. Call me God. Yes, God. How old are you today? 16. God. God. Someone said you've been masturbating. Who? Providence. Yes. God. God. What were you thinking about? A woman. You're giving me an idea. He brings out his sketchbook. What is this woman like? Gentle and tender, like grass in spring. I didn't ask you to describe woman's character, Adam. I'm the expert on minds, and only I decide what a character things have. Do you want to take my place? You'll end up in a bad way, maybe dangling from the end of a rope. Let's get back to the subject. What is this woman like physically? Like me, but a woman. What do you mean? You know, God. No, I don't. Sex has never been my specialty and never will be. God doesn't have erections. God doesn't hang out in brothels. God doesn't get laid. God is above the common rabble. He is pure of mind. Innocent. Tell me, Adam. You're embarrassing me, God. Relax. According to our knowledge, the woman must be smaller, thinner, and more fragile than the man so as to evoke pity and compassion in him. Oh, wretched creature, where are you off to on this moonless night? Come, I will protect you. Ah, to protect the birds against their predators, and to hold in the palm of your hand the fragile body of the fledgling that has been chased from the nest. Ah, to hold the frail body of a woman in your arms in the event of great danger, throw yourself on this body to act as a safeguard, to protect. Man should be like a shield for a woman, and so he should be bigger. As for anatomical differences, I will broach this subject without letting any shame creep over my face. A woman should have a full and harmonious shape where man has not, and an empty space in the spot where man is endowed. Do you understand? So aroused by the curiosity which is a wicked fault in man, he will say, you have something protruding on your chest. Are you ill? And the man will touch the swelling and examine it. One day the chest will be recognized, and the man will say it's good. Looks at what the Indian god is sketching. The breasts are heavier, firm, hard, pear-shaped. Not shaped like apples? Why? It's an old family tradition. The bum is round. Bring the crease of the bum right up to the small of the back, slightly arched. The thighs are slender. not 2 telegraph poles. That stroke is too hard, too straight. A woman's body will suggest the rounded delights of the devil, not the uprightness of God. Your uprightness is a pain in the bum, God. So what? I am the standard reference. Look, you're blackening the pussy like a madman. Gently does it. Spread out the tufts of hair. The hairs are silky, arrogant. The tongue should be about to get lost in the hairs, and with them excite the clitoris. I'm sure you're bad at fucking, God. How often do I have to tell you? I don't fuck. Go lightly with the pencil, as if a man was caressing a woman's body. Don't rip holes in the paper. Play with it. Yes, you're getting better. There's the woman I desire in all her white, naked splendor. What color are her eyes? Black. Another scene. An Indian devil. An Indian Eve. They are walking. Eve. What's the world like? The devil. Beautiful. Very beautiful. Beauty can't be perceived without risk. Knowledge can't be revealed without risk. Are you all right here, my daughter? Risk? A head-spinning impulse. An explosion into the unknown. Aren't you depressed in this garden? Have you felt the taste of movement and things which are risky? They give wings. I'm only an ignorant woman. You'll be the first learned woman in the world. Will my name be in the newspapers? Your name will be blessed for eternity by men and women who seek the truth. What do I have to do? Bite into the apple? Oh, Father, you've come. You saved me. Why have I waited so long? Apathy had descended. A veil had descended over the countryside. I was cast down. Thank you, Father. Have you thought about it, Eve? Your eyes will open. You will be like the gods, knowing good and evil. You will die. Why should I worry about the risk of death if my children transmit numbers, letters, laws, and all the rest until the knowledge of God is pushed aside? A delicious apple. Do you want a bit? I've already tasted it. Eve eats the apple and runs to give it to Adam. Eat it. You'll be the second learned person in the world. Yes. Adam, we're living in historic times. You're demanding that now I sink my teeth into it, and that I take my clicks and clacks and leave paradise and travel the world. Hurry up. What will future generations say when they know that woman, this feeble creature, was the first learned person in the world? Let's eat quickly, or I'll show how embarrassed I am. Adam eats the apple. The Indian god. I've caught you red-handed, idiot. Munch the pips. One is stuck in your tooth. Another is making your gum bleed. You thought God is at death's door? I've got you to the core. Enjoy the pips. Break your teeth. Let dandelions and thistles grow on the earth. Pull them up by the sweat of your brow. Sweet blood and tears. Or sweat, blood, and tears. Let an icy wind get hold of you. Die of pleurisy. I'm drowning the world with microbes, bacteria, viruses, waste, and excrement. I summon up epidemics, a little leprosy here, a truck full of cholera there, catastrophes, flooding, volcanic eruptions, cyclones. You'll be hearing from me. As for your tart, the first learned person in the world, she'll have many sorrows. She'll give birth in pain, moaning like cattle taken to slaughter. Passers-by will say, is that woman giving birth or an ox on its way to the slaughter? Eve, Lord God, we're going. Indian god. We're at war now. Those who regret the loss of innocence will be my soldiers. They'll cause havoc. Stand up, the morons who regret the loss of innocence. A woman accompanied by 10 Indians. She sings, we inform you that we don't want pity. We couldn't care less for pity. We inform you that we're not asking for love. We couldn't care less for love. We inform you that we're not crying out for justice. We couldn't care less for justice. Do you remember the whore at whom you cast stones, whom you undressed, whose hair you cut, whom you led naked through the streets, on whom you attached a sign around her neck? Do you remember the whore who was decreed an outcast? We inform you that we don't want pity. We couldn't care less for pity. We inform you that we're not asking for love. We couldn't care less for love. We inform you that we're not crying out for justice. We couldn't care less for justice. Do you remember the whore who asked for help in the swamps? I spent a month in that part of Brazil listening to these blasphemous texts. Notes on bouffons. Enjoy imagining the life of bouffons in swamps and in the forest, distorting the actor. transformed them into a handicapped person, with or without legs, with or without arms, a body in a wheelchair, a hunchback, a dwarf, or someone who is big, tall, and upright, who parodies fanatical priests. Physical deformation helps express the pleasure of blasphemy and parody. Don't forget the little bells, which expert hands attach to the bum. In the Middle Ages, on the Day of the Donkey, the bishop allowed bouffons to blaspheme inside the church for 24 hours. They gave themselves up to it joyfully. Imagine bouffons in concentration camps. Jews, gypsies, homosexuals parody the prisoners put in charge of other prisoners, the Nazis or Hitler. The taste for blasphemy and leisure therein takes pride of place. Lydia Iwande, a woman from Cameroon who is beautiful and black as night, told me that in her country, groups of people similar to the bouffons are all sent to the sacred forest together. Once a year, people go in there. They tell the bouffons in detail the treachery the king has committed during the year. A long procession of bouffons hobble along to the king's castle, a show. They play out the king's acts of treachery. The king has no right of reply. The bouffons go back to the sacred forest. Blessed are the meek. Moudon? Do you know Moudon? I have the impression that the bouffon world would be a wonderful starting point today for anyone wanting to talk about the world, politics, ecology, and the massacre of peoples. Thank you, sir, for telling me the story of bouffons in Amazonia. I don't regret putting on clean clothes, even if the forest is not quite the place for frills and high-heeled shoes. No problem. I experience it all as if I were gleefully crossing the boundary of the game which opens the imaginary when approached the right way. Are you surprised, master? The idiot is making progress. Goodbye.